Now, scientists say a new super rat found across much of Wiltshire has mutated to develop a resistance to rat poison. University researchers have been tracking the mutation since it was first detected in our county a couple of years ago. Now, Dr. Dougie Clark is Head of Biological Sciences at the University of Huddersfield, where the studies have been taking place.
There are problems with knocking out populations in certain areas of Wiltshire where they're putting the commonly used poisons down and nothing is happening at all. So the general public and organisations are getting a bit worried that the rats aren't disappearing.
Well, let's talk to Justin Holloway from Prokill in Swindon. Hello, Justin.
Good afternoon, Lee.
Is that what you've just heard the professor saying there, putting the rat poison down and it having no effect? Is that something that sounds familiar to you?
It happens on occasions. It's not a general widespread event at this time. So we still have a degree of control with our existing products that we have. And there are new products on the market which are helping us more in internal spaces and expose external spaces. But there is a growing problem, that's for sure.
What do we mean when we talk about these super rats with a resistance to rat poison? What's actually happening?
Well, one of the effects of the common rat poisons is to cause a thinning of blood. They're anticoagulants. And the rats have developed the means for the enzyme production, which allows the assimilation of vitamin K1 and the reproduction of vitamin K1, which is the coagulant feature which we have in all of us. It has allowed them to function with far higher levels of anticoagulants. So that means that the typical doses that are required to bring about the control or the eventual demise of the rat are no longer sufficient. And in fact, that speaks of some historic issues that I've seen in my career, which relates to the dosage levels that are often given, particularly in the domestic sector, where we find that sachets commonly available of supermarket shelves are not deployed in large enough quantities to have the sort of effect required. And what this leads to is insufficient dosage at the point of application. And one of the things that manufacturers that provide us with these products describe is called the lethal dose 50 level. And that's the level at which 50% of the rat labs died after consuming this product. And quite often the amount of baits put out are nowhere near sufficient to do the job. But by being nowhere near sufficient, it allows them to ingest it and perhaps create the level of tolerance to this in their bloodstream.
Right, so it can actually be having an even worse effect by putting down not enough. You actually increase their ability to survive it in future.
Absolutely, that's very much the case.
So what is the cure? Apart from just putting down more and more rat poison, is there another solution?
Well, the approach that we try to take in our company is a little bit different from simply trying to kill rats. The way we look at this is we look at it from a defensive perspective. If rats are causing a problem in your life, it may well come down to issues such as poor infrastructure, sources of food close to your property or business that you're trying to protect. So there's many things you can often do to prevent the problem or the presence of rats being a problem for your business or your home. Only at the point where they are physically running in your home do you want to try and do something about that, typically. And that can be a combination of many things, not just rodenticides. It can be some physical traps. It can be sticky boarding systems. Many other things are available other than just rodenticides. So whilst we've probably got one hand being more progressively tied behind our back by this problem, it's not, rodenticides themselves are not a solution. It's a whole holistic view that you have to take to a problem. So I think that it's something that's going to become far larger as a problem as time goes by, no doubt. And one of the things that could happen, which could be disastrous for the industry as a whole, is the much tighter regulation and even exclusion of rodenticides from professional use. And this is currently under consideration in the European Union. And there are various bodies here that we have that are trying to promote the safe use and effective use of what we've got and the effective use of new compounds that we have available. My perspective on this is quite straightforward, and that is that we've got to move away from the untrained, unregulated use of rodenticides. And whilst I'm sure everyone would love to nip off to the local supermarket and buy some rat poison, quite often we're off called in anyhow later in the events when they haven't gone on top of it. And I think the untrained use of these products can be part of the problem in itself.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, thank you, Justin. Justin Holloway joining us. Sorry about the quality of that phone line, but what Justin had to say, I'm sure you'll agree, is fascinating, and makes you wonder about how the situation may continue. 9 minutes to 5 o'clock right now.